Egyptian civilization. Gods and goddesses. Horus. Horus, the falcon-headed god, is a familiar ancient Egyptian god. He has become one of the most commonly used symbols of Egypt, seen on Egyptian airplanes, and in hotels and restaurants throughout the land. Horus is the son of Osiris and Isis, the divine child of the Holy Family triad. He is one of many gods associated with the falcon. His name means he who is above and he who is distant. The falcon had been worshipped from the earliest times as a cosmic deity whose body represents the heavens and whose eyes represent the sun and the moon. Horus is depicted as a falcon wearing a crown with a cobra or the double crown of Egypt. The hooded cobra, Uraeus, which the gods and pharaohs wore on their foreheads, symbolizes light and royalty. It is there to protect the person from harm. When Horus was an infant, his father was killed by Osiris' brother Seth. Isis, to keep her son from being harmed, Isis hid Horus in the marshland of the Nile, where she protected him from the poisonous snakes, scorpions, crocodiles, and wild animals. As he grew up, he learned to ward off danger and became strong enough to fight Seth and claim his rightful inheritance, the throne of Egypt. As a result, Horus is associated with the title of kingship, the personification of divine and regal power. Kings believe they were descended from Horus, who was considered to be the first divine king of Egypt. Egyptian civilization. Gods and goddesses. Osiris. Osiris is one of the principal Egyptian gods who first appeared in funerary texts during the Pyramid Age when the practice of mummification began, 2400 BC. He presided over the court that determined the fate of kings when they died. He is portrayed as a mummified man wearing a dull white crown adorned with 2 ostrich feathers. According to Egyptian mythology, Osiris was murdered by his brother Seth and then brought back to life by the love of his sister and wife, Isis. This myth describes the forces of destruction that initiated the process of mummification. The love of Isis is symbolic of regeneration and the promise of eternal life. The cycle of destruction, death, and rebirth was repeated each year in the annual flood of the Nile, the river that provided the essential ingredients needed to sustain life, giving birth to one of the first civilizations. In the New Kingdom, the main temples throughout Egypt venerated a holy family modeled on the Osiris, Isis, and Horus triad. Osiris is also equated with the miracle of the Nile and the rich harvest, as the text from the sarcophagus of a high priestess of Amun named Ankh-Nezen-Ferebra attests. Hail, you are the maker of grain, he who gives life to the gods with the water of his limbs, and bread to every land with the water that takes form under him. Egyptian civilization. Gods and goddesses. Isis represents the power of love to overcome death. She brought her husband and brother, Osiris, back to life and saved her son Horus from certain death. She is portrayed wearing the hieroglyph for throne on her head. From the New Kingdom onward, she sometimes wore a solar disk between cow horns. She is also often depicted mourning the death of her husband and nursing their son.